Hey guys, it's Christine with Indigo Wings. I'm here with the weekly twin flame energy reading for the week of September 25th, and this will go through October 1st. So this reading is really echoing a lot of what I am seeing out in the twin flame community from other readers, just in terms of people who also read divine feminine and divine masculine energies. So it's always, it's nice for me to get a confirmation that I'm, what I pull for cards is showing similar information. So there isn't really any, I'm not gonna get into anything really in terms of updates, astrology, anything like that. I didn't go into anything. A really super busy, long week this past week. So I'm still kind of regrouping and getting ready to head into the next week. So I'm really basically just going to jump in to the reading. The big thing I would like to just mention to everybody, I am still playing with the idea of paid content because I'm still getting inquiries from people about addressing more specific types of situations because I'm not necessarily hitting, twins who are in separation, or I'm not hitting particular issues for people. And it's tough. I get what comes to me, but it's a reading for a general population, a very large population, and I kind of get what I get for one reading. So, but I'm probably overthinking it. It's, the Virgo in me, it's the type A, it's the perfectionism, it's the details. I'm still kind of struggling with how to set that up in terms of what do people need, what's out there, because it does take up some time when I do the videos, and I don't mind. I am here to be of service, so I don't mind, but I want to make sure that I'm providing content that is actually worthwhile and helpful and necessary. So if there's something, if you have a demographic or a situation or something that you think would be helpful to be addressing as a reading like this, please comment below and let me know your thoughts, because I will read them. I would really like to hear your feedback on what you think about that. Some thoughts that I've had are dividing it up by zodiac signs and doing it that way, and that way I can get smaller subgroups. I have also thought about doing readings for people who are specifically in separation. I don't know. So put your feedback in the comments. I really would love to know what your thoughts are on that. And I apologize for the glare. It wasn't glaring on the video when I first started this, so I apologize. I don't really feel like getting up, pausing this, getting up, shutting the curtains. So the sun's setting, so it will probably go away in a minute. So if you're new to my channel, I refer to the energies divine masculine, divine feminine, Although the energies can refer to same-sex relationships, I stick with the divine feminine and masculine just to make it easier for me as I'm going through the reading. People can keep track of who I'm talking about. If what I say does not resonate with you, that's okay. It's just not the message for you. It's not a big deal. If what I say resonates with you, if it feels like I'm talking directly to you, then I'm the reader for you. And you may benefit from getting a personal reading with me. I have so many people who contact me feeling like I am speaking directly to them with these readings, that I'm so spot on with what's going on in their personal situations. And if you're one of those people, you may be really pleased with the outcome of getting a personal reading with me. I get time and time again how pleased people are with the outcome of their personal readings, because obviously I can get a lot more detailed when it's a one-on-one. So with that, and I will put all my contact information in the description of the video. So I'm going to start with the feminine energy. The first card that comes up is Clarity of Belief. And, the feminine twins are still, many of them are still in that kind of, I almost want to say they're being a little wishy-washy, but it's not like they don't have good reason for feeling back and forth about where they want to go with the situation. They've been through quite a bit emotionally, spiritually, physically, and they're exhausted. And so the clarity belief, so many of the divine feminine are feeling like, I really need to let the divine masculine go. But, the person here, they're holding their hand over their heart. And so it's not a letting go, of that person. It's done in love, and there's no negativity associated with this. It's not. It's so that it's letting them go and setting them free. It's like that. If you love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, if it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never meant to be. Like that kind of a mindset. And it's, that's not necessarily the, like it feels painful. Like I can feel the pain of some of you, like coming to grips with that, because you are scared that if you let them go, they're never coming back. And all of the stuff that comes into your head, like, well, what if it was never meant to be? And what if they're not my twin? And, like all that stuff. But this is, this is more, you're just, and this isn't even necessarily taking the action of letting your twin go. This is just like that contemplation of, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go with this? Flip-flopping back and forth. But the act of letting go and detaching is still really important. And we're going to get to that as we move further through the reading. But that's kind of where the feminine is. And, even though some of you may not necessarily make that decision to sever the connection, let go, you know. And I feel like the majority of you are not even going to have that conversation of I'm letting you go or I'm detaching or anything like that. You're going to be kind of in your head doing this and doing your own thing about it, because you know that you need to do something differently than what you've been doing. And you've heard over and over and over again, you need to detach, you need to let go. Have you really? You know, it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to do it. And so many of you, I think, are really going to have to get down and be honest with yourself. Like, have I detached from expectations and expectations of outcome, and am I letting them walk their path and do what they need to do? Am I really grasping everything that's going on? Am I really focusing on myself and dealing with my own stuff? And those are questions that, you know, as you're going through this space, you'll know what you need to ask yourself. You'll know what you need to look at. You'll know where you need to dig deeper. You'll know. Some of you, as you're hearing this, might not be ready to really hear this and might feel very standoffish, like, no. I've done all my work and I've done all I need to do and I'm done. But I feel like there will be a shift in that where you realize, you know, maybe I didn't, you know, maybe I did this for the wrong reasons, and maybe I really, you know, I thought I was letting go of this expectation and I really didn't, you know, deep down. So you know, there's going to just be a lot of reflection and clarifying things for yourself. Clarifying card here is the Nine of Earth. And, you know, what I'm getting immediately with this card is that, you know, this is, you know, a time of going within, time alone. Not so much a time of alone where it's sadness and loneliness, but it's just, you know, quiet by yourself so that you can figure out what you need to figure out. You know, it's just, it's, you know, self-improvement time, contemplation time, meditation time, just figuring things out, figuring out next steps. The card that comes up for the masculine is Healing Begins. And I can't remember where I just saw this card, but I know this card has been has come up recently with the masculine. And, you know, things are happening on their end where the healing is happening. You know, they've gone through a lot of crap. And we have to remember that just because they are not sharing with the feminine, it doesn't mean that they've got an easy go of it. You know, and we have to remember that, you know, things are not always how they appear. So a lot of the healing processes happen within. And, you know, there's definitely a lot happening, a lot of shifts, you know, and I definitely feel like this card came up in I want to say it was last week's reading, because I was talking about the shifts and the changes that are taking place in the heart space. And I was referring to Mel Brand, a video that he just did. You know, and you know, some of that is, I think, what's happening with them as well. The clarifying cards that I pulled up here is act as if your partner is here. And so what I'm getting with this card is that I feel like for some of the masculine twins, they are starting to realize that if they want to continue to have the feminine in their life, if they want to move forward with the feminine, they really need to have some more consideration and not, I'm not sure if I'm saying it the way that it's in my head, but I mean, I guess, they need to act like the feminine is right in front of them and not somewhere over here. They're realizing that they need to have a more active idea of that this person is in their life now and not in the future. And this card is it's 37, which breaks down to a 10, so new beginnings. There's this energy of, how do we get to that new beginning our lives together? How do we get to that? And that is one of the ways, shifting the energy in that direction. Because if the masculine if they continue to disregard the feminine energy, like, well, this is my current reality and the people in it, and the divine feminine is not part of this reality, things are she's going to continue to not be part of the current reality. If they want her to be part of the current reality, they need to act like she is. Do you know what I'm saying? The next card that is a clarifier card with this is look to your inner strength. And with this healing begins, I really feel like it's just kind of bringing to the forefront the divine masculine really understanding their own personal strength. They're stronger than they realize. They're capable of more than they realize. And I feel like it's they've kind of downplayed their ability to overcome some of these emotional things, and realizing that they're far more capable than they really thought that they were. The next card that comes up for the masculine, can't pick these cards up, is share the love. And the hand is stretched out towards the feminine. And so I feel like there is going to be some gestures, and they may not be anything huge. Don't be expecting these grand gestures of love. The masculine is not necessarily in a place of giving huge amounts of love, but they're going to give what they can, because if you look at the heart, and even though there's light coming out of that crack, the heart is still broken. It's still injured. It's still cracked. There's still wounding there. There's still healing, and they're only capable of doing so much with everything that they've had on their plate and everything that they've been going through. And so they're gonna share what they can, because the clarifying card here is consider your foundation. And this card is a 50, which breaks down to a 5. They're realizing that they really need to change how they approach their connection with the divine feminine. And if they want to have a future there, they need to make sure that the foundation is strong, and that they need to stop doing things that chip away at that foundation. They need to make whatever gestures that they can, because those things they build the foundation, they add up. And feminine, you do need to be open to receiving that love in whatever way it comes. It may not come in the way you want it to. It might not come in the way you want it to look, and that's why it's so important to detach and let go of expectations that you have, because the things that are coming to you are not necessarily going to come in the way that you expect them to look. So the card that comes up next for the feminine, and I feel like the feminine's gonna kind of go through some stuff, and I'm almost feeling like something is going to trigger the feminine this week, or it just happened, or it is it's coming up soon. And I'm not sure if it's this sharing the love, or if it's the clarity of belief. One of these things is going to be triggering some stuff, because the next card for the feminine, 3 cards came out. We had daydreams and decisions. And the person in this card, she's holding her hands in a heart position right at her heart center, and she's got her eyes closed, like she's really contemplating, but I don't really get like a peaceful contemplation. Like, she doesn't look like, I just don't get like a good feeling from this card. Like, I get somebody who is more distressed and thinking a lot. The next card is moving on, and the next card is darkest fears. And so I feel like this point of being triggered, what I first, I basically, in a nutshell, I really feel like there's a couple things going on here, but again, there's that, do I stay or do I go? Do I move on? What do I do? There's a lot of like a tug of war going on between the mind and the heart. And then this, so there's that going back and forth of, what do I do? A lot of thinking. But then, you're presented with these small expressions of love. Maybe for some of you they're bigger than small, but some expressions of love that are not what you expected. For some of you, I really feel like you're going to be like, whoa, put on the brakes, because you're going to realize you're not as ready for this as you thought you were. And that's going to freak you out, because I think for some of you, deep down, one of your darkest fears is that your twin is going to come back to you and be ready for you, and you're not going to be ready for them. And that you may reject them. But for others, there's just that the head and the heart fighting. Do I stay? Do I go? If I'm, and again, that fighting with them, if I move on, then what? And the mind going and playing out all these fears that you have. I'll be alone forever. I'll never find somebody. This is the one for me, etc., etc. And the clarifying cards that I pulled here, I pulled 3 just because there were 3 cards. I had the Knight of Air, the Queen of Air, and the 8 of Earth, and they're all kind of playing off of these 3 cards as well. The Knight of Earth being, you have these options, and you're trying to figure it out. I don't know what to do, and almost like you're trying to take your time with it, but at the same time, it's eating is eating at you. And then the Queen of Fire, with that moving on energy, there's that feeling of, I don't want to underestimate myself. I don't want to miss my opportunity somewhere else. I want to assert my independence. I want to live my life there, you know, and that's kind of what's driving the desire to move on. And then, you know, with the darkest fears, we have the, you know, Eight of Earth, which is, you know, learning all there is to know about a topic. This is kind of like fixating on all of the fears surrounding, you know, if I move on, what is this going to look like? Or, you know, if you're in the camp of, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm ready for this. What is this going to look like? What if I reject him and he goes away for, like, really fixating on things that just are not really going to be helpful for you. So the next card that comes up for the masculine is going to be Seek. And so I think that the reaction that the feminine has is going to be like, what? You know, it's going to kind of throw them off a little bit. But at the same time, I think there's going to be some maturity where they're like, okay, well, you know, I have made my fair share of mistakes or poor judgment calls or whatever, you know, like there's this real, I don't want to say understanding, but I can't think of a better word that I want to use, but an acceptance that I, you know, to let whatever is being triggered in the feminine to play out. Like, they know she'll come out of it. They know that she'll chill. You know, they're understanding that sometimes things they do set her off. They might not understand the word trigger, but they understand that things are going to set her off, or, you know, maybe something else that had nothing to do with them set her off. But so they're going to go and they're going to be like, okay, how can I, and some of them are possibly going to go and look at this in the way of like, how can I fix this? What can I do differently? They're going to look for answers on, you know, avoiding something like that, which it's a journey and it's always going to be changing, and you know, you got to be fluid with it. They're learning, but this is like, the Seek card is like that desire to, or that I guess desire, or just a willingness to be open to learning, a willingness to be open to that fluidity of the journey instead of just running away. And the clarifying card here is Ask for Help. And so even if they are going within, you know, doing some soul searching, whatever, it's a different type. It's, okay, I need help with this. I don't know how to handle her when she's like this, or how can I be better? How can I do this differently? How can I, you know, they're going to be looking at a different approach to be better. And part of how I know that this is a change, you know, because they want to be supportive. They want to support versus send them into some sort of trigger tailspin. This card's a 14, which breaks down to a 5. So this is, you know, this is going to be a change from what they normally do. For the feminine, cannot pick the cards up today. The next card for the feminine is simply love. And, you know, what happens with the feminine here with this, you know, triggering episode, little mini meltdown, it's something, you know, you just have to do, because you're just going to have to be, you know, I feel like many of you have some stagnant energy that just has to kind of move through you. You gotta get it out. It's got to purge through you. And this is one of the ways that it happens, is when you get triggered, and then you can kind of, that energy is going to move out of you. And once it does, you're going to be able to be in this place of, okay, you know, whatever your scenario is, you know, maybe you're not ready to go into union right this second. You've got stuff to take care of, or, you know, you're just, wherever you're at with this, you're realizing like, okay, I don't have to do anything right now except just be. And I'm just going to choose to be loving. I'm just going to be in the love, and I'm not going to freak out about anything. And the clarifying cards here are unity and the Three of Water. So the Three of Water is all about, you know, celebration, love of life, you know, and I really like that, you know, the Three of Water is a need to have more fun. And so at the beginning of this, between clarity of belief and the other cards, it's very heavy, serious energy. And I feel like with everything that kind of, it gets pushed out so that this lighter, happier, have fun, loving energy can replace it. And then the other card that comes up here is unity. And, you know, and I almost feel like this is a card where the feminine is going to be potentially like reevaluating traditional viewpoints on relationships, like how society looks at relationships and how they pertain to her, and just kind of looking at those things, you know. Maybe this relationship doesn't look how I expect it to or want it to right now, but does it have to? Maybe this suits me for right now. Why does it have to fit into societal norms of what a relationship should be or should look like, and kind of like bucking those traditional viewpoints? Because nobody can define your relationship or your union. Like that's for you to decide. And that's kind of one of the things about Twin Flames and why we're here, and what we're here to do is to redefine relationship templates. And so that, I kind of feel like, is something that some of the feminine are going to be contemplating. And it's not a bad thing. And some of you may be kind of bouncing that off of other people, possibly in the spiritual community, people that you look up to, mentors, you know, whatever that looks like for you. This card's also a 5, so another card of change, transition, like things looking different. So the crowning energy that you're both coming into is detach and opportunity beckons. And so what I'm getting with this is that there's something that you still are needing to detach from. Something you still need to let go of. I really don't think that it is necessarily each other. I mean, for some of you maybe, but I feel like if you're getting to this point, that's not so much it. Like, if so far this reading has resonated with you, I don't think that I feel like you have done a pretty good job of being able to detach from the outcomes that you need to. Maybe you do need to detach from the outcomes. Like, go with what feels right for you. But I feel like there are other things that you are needing to detach from. I'm feeling, for some, this is that detach from traditional relationship views, like what traditional relationships look like, traditional relationship definitions. Because by detaching from whatever it is that you need to, letting go from whatever it is that you need to, opportunity beckons. And this is an infinite opportunity, which, you know, this is something that you've been connected to for all of eternity. Now, that's not to say that if you don't let go of this, you're going to lose that opportunity. No, this is something you've been connected to for a long time. But detaching from something, there's something you need to further detach from, let go of, to get you to the opportunities that you are desiring. And the clarifying card that I pulled here is free yourself. So that's another card of that, you know, need to disconnect or detach from something that is holding you back. You know, is there something in your life that where you feel like you don't have control, or like something that you need to let go of in your life that will make you feel like you have control over your life again? So the next card is the grounding energy that you are both bringing to this reading. And the card is feeling alone and teach. And so I'm feeling like with the teach, you're both going to be learning a lot about your connection and kind of what the connection means to you and how you can relate with each other. But, you know, because there's that's that underlying energy that you might not be outwardly aware of. And then there's feeling alone. And I do feel like there is going to be, you know, still that concern and that worry of, you know, being alone. You know, you have all of that, you know, the darkest fears, especially for, you know, the divine feminine. You have the female here who's alone. But again, you know, remember when this card comes up, it's just an illusion, because there's a house here just across the river. She's not alone. There's a light on. There's someone there. And it's, you know, you're never disconnected from your twin. You know, you always have that connection. It's just an illusion. What's interesting of the clarifying card that comes up here, though, is let go of control issues. And I do feel like that is a lot of what is going to be learned on both ends, is where do you need to let go of control. And, you know, by letting go of control, that is how you're going to detach, and that's how you're going to free yourself and feel like you're taking control back over your own life. The underlying energy, and both of those cards, by the way, were fives, so those are changes. So the next card for the feminine, it's her underlying energy she's bringing to this reading, is rebuild. You know, this is this deck's version of the Tower. So this is a realization, an epiphany, a life change. And, you know, what I'm really getting here is that this is, you know, a very deep realization. You know, this card breaks down to a 7, you know, being on the right path, the right spiritual path, that she knows in her heart that divine timing is at work in this connection and in this situation. The clarifying card I pulled here is worth waiting for. Now, it's not so much about the divine masculine being worth waiting for. This card is about that this situation is all about divine timing, and that everything is going to work out in divine timing. It's about having that faith and trust that everything is working out exactly the way that it's supposed to. The underlying energy that the masculine is bringing to this reading is coming together. And so a lot of these changes that you're seeing with the masculine is coming about because there is this underlying energy. There is this true desire to come together with the feminine energy. They want to be together. They just need to work through their own energies so that it can happen. And the clarifying card, you know, if you're already doubting that coming together, the clarifying card is retreat. But look at the people who are on this card. You have a woman in a wedding dress, and you have a man in a suit or tuxedo. And it's about disconnecting from the world and spending time together. That's the underlying energy for the masculine. They want to come together and spend quality time together with the feminine. So, you know, they might not be fully aware of that. I mean, they're aware of that, they want that, but they're working on it. They really are. They're doing it really may not seem like they are, it really may not feel like they are, but they are doing the best that they can. So, final card, I pull an oracle card, and the oracle card for this reading is a change in the wind. It did come in the reverse position, but a lot of times I'm pulling for the relationship message, so I'll look at the protection message to see if it is appropriate, but I don't know if it will be. So let's see. So this is, okay, so here's the protection message. There are conditions brewing in your life you have no control over. Don't fight them. Change is inevitable, and it is for the best, for the higher good. Even if this storm blows away the structures you think you've built your dreams on, all will turn out as it should. You will have a renewed clarity and strength to do something even better. Spirit is your ally. So that's a pretty cool message, given what I was just talking about with the need to let go of control, to free yourself, and what it was just talking about with building a new foundation. You know, this card, rebuild, you know, the lightning is striking right at the foundation. You know, it's breaking the foundation so that you can rebuild. And then there's the card over here talking about considering your foundation, building that foundation. And I will just, in case it resonates with anybody, I will read the relationship message. Relationships go through periods where partners seem out of sync with each other, and stormy emotions and moods threaten to take down the ship. Perhaps someone has a change of heart and leaves. These rough seas offer opportunities for mutual growth, a way for you to understand your own heart better and to know what you need to be truly happy. Rest assured that whatever is happening now, good will come from it. Take temporary shelter and remove yourself from drama. The air will clear and everything will be fresh and new again. This too shall pass. So I do feel like both of these messages are appropriate given all of the things that are going on, but I think the one that best reflects this reading is actually the protection message. The essential meanings of this card are a sense that unseen change has been initiated, and feeling a shift and uncertainty about which direction the winds will blow, which I do think is very much what is going on with so many people in the twin flame community. So I hope that this reading was helpful for you guys this week. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. And again, if you have any input on paid content readings, please comment below because I would love to hear your input on that. If you would like your own personal reading with me, visit my website, which is indigowingshealing.com. You can also email me at indigowingshealing@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/indigowingshealing. And I also have a Facebook group where sometimes I offer special promotions, or sometimes I do live free card pulls once in a while. Just little things like that. And that is Indigo Wings Soul Connections. So I think I gave you all my info, and I tried to just stick to the reading, and yet I still went longer than I wanted to. So I hope that everybody has a great week, and thank you for joining me on my video. I appreciate you all, and I will see you again for my next video. Take care.